why Kyrie Irving would not work out for the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, after a very disappointing season from the Brooklyn Nets this year, getting swept in the first round by the Boston Celtics, it's being reported that Kyrie Irving could be opting out from his contract with the Brooklyn Nets and leaving into free agency and leaving Kevin Durant after saying that he wasn't going to be leaving number 7, alluding to the fact that he wasn't thinking about leaving Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. Now, he's done it before, he's lied before, so I'm not surprised on that. Kyrie Irving isn't really a very respectable guy when it comes to committing to his word, because we saw what he did to Boston a couple years back, saying that in the arena with the microphone, saying, "I'll be re-signing here." Mic dropped, and he also dropped the contract and left. But anyways, Kyrie Irving is expected to go to free agency, and the Los Angeles Lakers are the biggest and most favored team to land Kyrie Irving this offseason. The 3 teams that are reported to also be interested, including the Lakers, is the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, honestly, Kyrie Irving and the Lakers would not work out. For one, I think his relationship with LeBron James is heavily fractured, the way that Cleveland went down. Because the way that Kyrie Irving disrespected LeBron James and absolutely took him for granted and ended up leaving in a very ugly way, honestly, definitely has a fracture in his relationship with LeBron James. Now, they obviously are going to say they have no problems with each other, and Kyrie Irving even went on Twitch Live saying that the media put them against each other. Now, the thing is about this is Kyrie Irving completely disrespected LeBron James, asking for a trade because he thought that he could win on his own and needed no help and wanted to be the number 1 man on the team. Now, this was obviously not the case when he failed in Boston, got hurt for the first playoffs, and the Boston Celtics without Kyrie Irving did better than they did the following year with Kyrie, losing in the first round to Milwaukee. And the other Celtics, they went and lost in the conference finals in 7 games to LeBron James' Cavs. That just shows that Kyrie Irving was actually holding the Celtics back. But he ends up leaving to the Brooklyn Nets and is basically out for a year. Him and Kevin Durant, they don't really play that much. That year nobody counts. KD's out for the year. Kyrie's hurt for the majority of the time. They basically just save themselves for the following year. And then the unexpected happens. Next year, Brooklyn Nets make a big 3. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. Boom. They end up making a team that everyone thinks is a lock for the finals, and they don't even do that. They lose in the second round to Giannis and the Bucks, who end up winning the chip in 7 games. In their home court, Giannis came in and beat them. Now, the thing about that game was, Game 7, Kyrie Irving did not play. He was hurt. Keep that in mind. Kyrie Irving was hurt. I've been saying he's been hurt. This is a thing that has been occurring often, in a pattern, always occurring with Kyrie Irving throughout recent years. Now, the following year happens, and the Brooklyn Nets this year, they have this COVID protocol where the state of New York, Kyrie Irving cannot play. He cannot play home games. Only certain states he can play. And Kyrie Irving, he ends up playing a very few amount of games, leaving the Brooklyn Nets to basically have absolutely no chemistry in the playoffs. And this leads them to be swept. And not only that, this pissed off James Harden that he requested a trade and got traded to Philadelphia. And then KD and Kyrie were trying to show James Harden that he basically kissed the ring goodbye and wanted to do a lot better than the Philadelphia 76ers. And don't get me wrong, Sixers had a disappointing year. They should have been in the finals, in the conference finals, but they lost in the second round to the Heat. And disappointing from them, acquiring an MVP candidate. But the Brooklyn Nets end up getting swept in the playoffs, first round to Boston. They just got destroyed, honestly. And Kyrie Irving was, up to shenanigans in the Garden, flicking off fans, cussing out fans. That was just, honestly, I was surprised he went that far. But Kyrie Irving, he chirped back. I honestly don't have that much of a problem with it. You're allowed to do what you want, but is it, a good thing to do? No. But am I going to be like, Kyrie Irving should be suspended? Nah, it's like, just get fined. And he knew that he was going to get fined. He dealt with it. But Kyrie Irving, he ends up costing the Brooklyn Nets a chance at a championship with the whole COVID thing. And I'm not saying, Kyrie should have got the vaccine. He should have been getting the vaccine like everyone else. Not his choice. No, it's his choice. He can feel however he wants. He can put in his body whatever he wants. So I'm not criticizing because of that. Now, Kyrie Irving now is looking to opt out. And we're now in today's day. And him on the Lakers would absolutely not work out. Because the Lakers, as we all know, have an injury problem. LeBron James is 38. You're going to see injuries. It's father time. It's inevitable. And I think LeBron James has around 60 games in a season. That's around where we'll see him next season. And then Anthony Davis is a complete wild card. He should be the guy playing 80 games, should be averaging MVP numbers, but we all know he's made out of glass. The guy can't stay healthy. Street clothes Davis, as Charles Barkley says it. He's always hurt. And you can't have two guys who have big injury histories with Kyrie and Anthony Davis be the supporting cast for a 37-year-old LeBron James. And it's just not going to work. You understand? Russell Westbrook did not work with the Lakers because he can't shoot. And he's just not in his prime anymore. He can average his 18, 7, and 7 with horrible percentage. His field goal percentage is great, but then you look at his three-point thing, and it's just like, oh, that's awful. But he's not very efficient. LeBron James needs efficiency. Kyrie Irving, if he's completely healthy and he gives you 80 games, obviously it works out. But I don't think he gives you 80 games. I think he gives you 40 games. Now, LeBron James, he can't do this all by himself at age 37. Come on now. His supporting cast is going to be completely horrible. I doubt the Lakers are going to outsmart the league and end up giving him one of the best supporting casts when it comes to role players. And they got to get rid of Russell Westbrook. Now, are the Nets foolish enough to trade Kyrie for Russell Westbrook straight up? No. It's not happening. They're not going to do a sign-in trade and just send Kyrie for Russell Westbrook. No. Now, can the Lakers manage to trade Westbrook elsewhere? Well, I heard the Charlotte Hornets are interested. Now, to trade Westbrook, the main thing to do is get him off the books and don't bring any contracts in, because many teams are going to be like the Rockets, who were trying to trade Christian Wood and John Wall for Russell Westbrook and a first-round pick. Now, they're going to get rid of Westbrook, but they're going to get that horrible contract of John Wall of $47 million. Do you know how bad that contract is? And they get Christian Wood, who is a good player, but he has a hefty contract as well. Or he will be getting a hefty contract because he's averaging 20 and 12. And, Kyrie Irving needs to stay healthy in order to work out for the Lakers. I don't see him going to the Lakers. I think this is fantasy land. I remember when he was hitting free agency, they were saying he's going to team up with LeBron James, but he ends up going with Kevin Durant. I don't think Kyrie Irving will be joining the Lakers. I think the best case scenario for Kyrie Irving, which is completely unrealistic, but this is the best case scenario. Hear me out on this one. For Kyrie Irving to have a successful year next year, I think the best place he can go is Philadelphia 76ers. And I know James Harden is there, but he hasn't opted in. So if James Harden were to opt out from the Philadelphia 76ers, and he were to leave, because we saw the 76ers be able to perform without James Harden and do it well, being one of the top seeds before James Harden came in. Now, Kyrie Irving, add him in. You don't need him the whole year. Obviously, it'd be nice to have Kyrie Irving, but you just need him for the playoffs. Keep Kyrie healthy enough to be there in the playoffs. And when he's in the playoffs, him and Embiid will go off. And I think the Sixers would have an amazing chance to win a championship if they were to replace James Harden with Kyrie Irving and have him for the playoffs. The regular season doesn't matter. The 76ers always do good in the regular season with the star next to Embiid or not. As long as you have Embiid, give him his MVP numbers, get him his MVP award. Kyrie Irving plays in the playoffs. You have your second star. Boom. You win a lot of games in the playoffs. You might even win a championship. You make a run. That's the best case scenario for Kyrie. He needs a team that doesn't rely on him in the regular season, just needs him for the playoffs. That's what he needs. Because Kyrie Irving, we all know, he isn't very reliable. Now, leave a comment down below where you think Kyrie Irving will end up and where he would be best to end up. And anyways, leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this, and thank you guys for watching.